What's up, everybody? This is Circles and Squares, Senior Ableton Instructor and Course Designer at Off Center DJ School in Toronto. Here to talk to you about making beats in Ableton with some sampling techniques. So what we're going to be doing is exploring how to slice up your samples in a quick and easy way to get them on your beat grid and get your beats going forward very quickly. First step is obviously sourcing out a sample, something that you actually want to grab the beats from. And in our case, what we're going to be doing is starting off with drums. Now, the thing with drums is that you want to get something that's pretty clean. You don't want too much background sound. So what we're going to do here is go through a couple of examples of things that might work. So our chosen track for the day would be this DJ Vadim remix by Zed's Dead. Okay, so what we're going to do is drag this right into our audio track here, and let's take a quick listen to what's happening here. And we're going to double click here just to get a bit of a different perspective. Right away we can see that this beginning part, this kind of intro part, has some more sparse sections. You can just see by the waveform here actually as well, right, versus, you know, this section over here starts to get a little bit thicker. So what we're going to try to do actually is focus in on this first part. All right, now, you know, you could check over here as well. We've got like a bit of a breakdown here. Probably grab some drums from a different section. Generally speaking, though, your intros and outros are really good go-tos for grabbing clean samples. Now, what I mean by a clean sample, again, is you're trying to avoid having too much background ambience, too many melodic elements or harmonic elements that may clash with future melodies that you're going to be adding to this beat, right? Because this is only the drums. We're going to be doing a lot more than just drums, but this is the first step, is just kind of getting that rhythmic bass down. So I'm going to focus in here on like a 2-bar section. I'm going to highlight 11 bar 11 till bar 13. I'm going to right click on my highlighted selection and just loop it. That's an easy way of just getting to know whether a certain section is going to work or not. Now you can kind of hear that this is the actual beginning of the bar, so I'm going to shift this over here. The way Ableton's warped this is not perfect, but it's good enough for now because all our beats are locking to the grid, which will make our slicing a lot easier. Okay, so that's going to be our loop here that we're going to grab from. We've got lots of kicks, snares, you got several hi-hat elements there, even a couple of claps hidden in the background there. And instead of slicing each sound individually, what we can do now, since we've got our loop, we're going to right click, and I'm actually going to crop this sample first, just so I don't have to think about any other audio information, just what's here in my 2-bar loop. And what I'm going to do now is go to my slicing options. When I right click on my clip, I can see slice to new MIDI track here, and what this is going to do is give me a few different options. So it's going to create a slice. In this case, according to transients, I can toggle down and look at this drop down menu to change the selection to something like half notes or quarter notes or eighth notes, even 16th notes. In my case, I want to choose transients at the moment just because I'm pretty confident that each of these little gray arrows, which are your transients in Ableton, represent a rhythmic break. Okay, and that's going to be important because we want each individual sound to be clean on our drum pads. When we strike the drum pad, you want that sound to be one sound. You don't want several sounds. So transients should guarantee that each of these are a clean slice. We're going to go ahead and slice that up. You can see now that it's given us 19 slices, 16 on this view. I can scroll up here in my drum rack and see where my other 19 slices are. Now I can make changes to these at any time. If I want to just double click on a slice and I want to either shorten shorten or lengthen a certain element, I can do that by just moving my arrows back and forth here. I can also zoom in. As you scroll, you can get your zoom tool here and just zoom in as far as you need to see what you want. Okay. Now, if I want to make changes, I can. If I don't want to, I don't have to. I can always go and delete any sounds that aren't making sense in this drum kit now that we've created for ourselves. I can also go and listen to what this actually sounds like by double clicking on my clip and seeing how these slices are being placed onto my 2-bar loop here. Now it should sound exactly the way the original does. Okay, but now I've actually got control. As a MIDI instrument, I've got control over each of these individual slices, and I can actually, I can go and proceed to create my own drum loop out of these sounds that we've extracted from the original. Okay, so let's solo this, the original, for a second, the green one. Okay, that's as it was. This is out as it is. Okay, pretty much the same. I'm just gonna, let's actually just click on here so we can see all the slices. Now those are my 19 slices. I'm gonna start to just identify what some of these slices are. So if I activate my auditioning tool here, I can click on any of the keys. Right, so my slice 2 and my slice 7 are my kick and my snare. These are all kind of some sort of variation of a hi-hat. I'm going to rename those just for sake of clarity. So I can double click on my instrument, or I can toggle back and forth by hitting shift, holding shift and pressing tab. Okay, and number 2 we're just going to go to and we're going to rename. Okay, I'm going to call this my kick. Okay, and number 7 I'm going to call my snare. Okay, that way at least I just know that, or snarl. Let's stick with snare. There we go. And let's toggle back, shift tab over to my clip view. Now these are going to be some sort of arrangement of my hi-hats. I can delete anything that I don't want. Sometimes a neat kind of method of actually beat creation is leaving the clip intact, meaning all of these kind of MIDI slices are going to be where they are, and I'm just going to play it, and I'm going to start making some changes on the fly and see where the beat goes, and then we'll compare it to the original and see how quickly we can actually make changes to it. So let's press play here, and we're going to start making some changes. Select my pencil tool here. B is your shortcut again for pencil. I've got my 16th note grid that I'm going to select here. Alright, found one of my hi-hat slices. I'm going to start varying up my hi-hats. Beginning in every bar, I'm going to add a different hi-hat. Okay, undo my pencil here, and I'm going to start getting rid of some of these. And then randomly I'm going to just pick some of these sounds and see what ends up sounding good here. Alright, got that selected. I'm going to switch to quarter notes and start working on my kick a little bit here. Actually, eighth notes is probably better, gives me a bit more control. Alright, let's add a little bit of variation here to my velocity. I'm not sure about that last snare. Maybe the velocity will help if we take that down a little bit. right? And that's the start. So let's give a quick comparison to the original. Okay. And what we've come up with in a short period of time here. Now stylistically it's the same. I can change the genre if I wanted to. I could go and change the tempo here as well if I wanted to. Right? And that gives it a bit of a different feel, a bit of a different swing. And of course I can go and swap in and out any sounds that I wanted into my drum rack to create a variation in the sounds that I've chosen. I might not necessarily want to keep every single drum from this particular clip. After all, originality is key. You don't want to necessarily bite someone too hard. You might want to sneak some of the kicks or some of the snares into your sound, but you don't want to create a beat that's exactly the same as somebody else's. But for the moment, we've got to start. Things are looking good. Stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to take a look at some more sampling techniques. We're going to add some melody to this particular beat, as well as seeing how far we can go with our sampling techniques to make a track inside of Ableton. Thanks for listening in. Circles and Squares signing out from Off Center DJ School in Toronto. Stay tuned for more.